Hello, distinguished friends and colleagues. This is Stuart Hamilton, the Pro-Life Activities Coordinator for the Archdiocese of Louisville, Kentucky, serving under Deacon Stephen Bowling. And this is 5 Minutes for Life, where we take 5 minutes to discuss one topic, one ministry, or one event that affects the pro-life movement here in the Archdiocese. This is part 1 of a special 3-part series I'm doing on in vitro fertilization. IVF, in vitro fertilization, has been at the center of a very hot national debate. And it's going to figure very prominently in the political conversation come next November's election cycle. Why is that? Well, the Catholic Church finds IVF immoral as a practice, and many Catholics are very confused about that. After all, at the end of in vitro fertilization, you have the birth of a child for couples that cannot naturally conceive. What could be so wrong about that? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tackle in these next 3 videos. But in this video, part 1, I want to talk about the court case that sparked this national debate. It took place in Alabama. What happened there was a woman wandered into an unsecure area at a fertility clinic there in Alabama, and she wanted to look at some frozen embryos. Now, these are unborn human lives conceived in a lab at the embryonic stage. They are frozen for in vitro fertilization and plantation later. The woman opened up a cryotube, burned herself, and dropped the embryos, killing several of them from 3 separate couples. These 3 couples were understandably grief-stricken. After all, these were their unborn future children that had died. And they immediately brought criminal charges against the fertility clinic. And what they did is they used a law called the Wrongful Death of a Minor Act. This law was actually implemented for pregnant women so that if a pregnant woman is harmed by criminal action, you could bring 2 criminal charges, not just for the woman, but also her unborn child. Well, that's exactly what the couples claimed. They said, due to the criminal negligence of the fertility clinic, our children have died and they should be under law held responsible. On the other hand, the fertility clinic said no. Only embryos that are in a mother's womb have rights under the law. If an embryo is not in a mother's womb, they have no rights under the law. They are a product to be used or disposed of as we see fit. Well, these arguments went all the way up to the Alabama Supreme Court, and last February, the Alabama Supreme Court ruled in favor of the plaintiffs, saying, yes, there was criminal negligence here, and these children lost their lives, and under the law, criminal charges can be brought against the clinic. Well, this started a firestorm. All of Alabama's fertility clinics then started saying, well, hold on. Do you realize that we dispose of tens of thousands of embryos per year as part of the regular course of our business? Are you saying now that we could be held criminally liable for this? And all the fertility clinics in Alabama shut down their practice until the law could be figured out. Well, quickly, this became highly politicized. The Democrats have been constructing a narrative about the Republicans since Roe v. Wade had been overturned that Republicans want to outlaw the fertility rights of women. They basically argued first they're going to outlaw abortion, then in vitro fertilization, and then even contraception. Now, these claims are highly spurious, but nonetheless, Republicans realized it was political poison, and they jumped at a response. For example, there in Alabama, they called an emergency legislative session, and they basically made a law to protect the fertility clinics, saying no matter what they do, if it's in the normal part of their business, they can dispose of embryos as they see fit. The law passed, and the clinics opened back up. Then at the federal level, Republicans and Democrats rushed to protect in vitro fertilization across all 50 states. The House introduced 2 separate bills, one written by the Democrats, one written by the Republicans, and it quickly passed. Both of these bills found their way into the Senate in June, but thanks be to God, neither bill could find the votes necessary to pass. Both of them went back to the drawing board. Now, this is important to understand. The Catholic Church holds that all of these embryos are human lives, unborn human lives, and they deserve dignity. But the way that these laws are treating the unborn human lives are that they don't actually matter at all. as we're going to see in future videos. This is even happening here in the state of Kentucky. Our lawmakers have promised that in next year's legislative session, they too will tackle in vitro fertilization. And all signals seem to be indicating that they will protect in vitro fertilization here in our state. Well, how should a Catholic respond? Well, they should respond by understanding Catholic Church teaching. And that's exactly what we're going to get into in part 2 and part 3 of this video series. That's all the time I have here today. If you like what I'm doing, please smash that like button, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell to know when new videos come out. Please remember, every human life is worth fighting for because every human life has value and dignity in the eyes of God. We'll see you here next time. God bless.